Everything has changed since my last search for the worst K-pop fandoms. My subscribers don't like me anymore. And my friends don't like me anymore. It's all gone to shit. So what should I do? I'm gonna make more. And it's back! Oh my lord, it's been a while, hasn't it? Last episode came out, what, 2 months ago? Crazy. Ooh. Something's wrong. What's wrong? I know what's wrong. Yup, the hat. Of course, I need the hat. Alright, let's crack this beauty open. Oh, yum. It's really dark in here. Does that help? No, now you just can't see my face. This is not... Ooh, the lighting's so bad in here. Just gonna have to make do. Ayo, what is up YouTube, Ginno here, returning with Search for the Worst K-Pop Fandoms 2. Oh my lord, number 2. If you haven't checked out part 1, please go do that, but before you do go check it out, I should have done some warnings before. Basically, it's a satire video. This should not be taken seriously. I make jokes at the expense of people, that's the whole point. Don't get too worked up about it. The title, Search for the Worst K-Pop Fandoms, it's not searching for the worst K-pop fandom. I should have explained it. It's the individual people. I'm not saying, oh, the fans of GOT7 are the worst. Not at all. It's individual fans search for the worst. And I didn't even find the worst. I'm not really looking for the horrible people who send death threats and make jokes about raping the idols. No, I don't really care for those people. It's just the ones that just piss me off, the ones that just piss me off. I might actually just try and get some better lighting in here because you can barely see my face. Is that better? Probably not. There we go. That's suitable, isn't it? Anyway, let's crack on. What we're doing today is we're going to be looking at K-pop infighting in particular fandoms, and I just want to say I'm going to be focusing on 3 fandoms today. Like last time, I'm going to be focusing on the ARMY and the EXO-L because I am incredibly involved in those 2 fandoms, so I see all the fucking amazing work of the fandoms, but I also see the really shit sides, the really small minority shit side. And then I'm also going to be doing some IGOT stuff. Now you may be like, oh, Ginno, you said you weren't going to be focusing on EXO-Ls and ARMYs this time. Well, it's very hard to explain, but they're the one I see a lot of. So I'm involved with them, and I'm attached to the members. And there's so much more there because they're going through such a popularity spurt at the moment. That's the best way I can explain it. Just remember, this does not apply to you. Anyone watching this video, it does not apply to you. It only applies to a minority of fans in sort of like their hundreds rather than their thousands or millions even. Because, oh god, the EXO support is huge. Some people estimate they have about 40 million fans. Incredible. Anyway, let's get into this. We're actually going to be starting off with a bit of old news, really old news, oh my lord, 2016, a year ago. It's really not that long ago. This is the big GOT7 controversy last year, where Bam Bam said the N-word on a Snapchat story, and then there was also footage of Yongyun being drunk. And yeah, it was just a bit of a mess, really. I'm not here to focus on that, though. Everybody's going to have an opinion on that, and it's going to differ. But it really split the GOT7 fan base. And oh my lord, there was some serious infighting, serious high-level anger. Oh, now I hate most K-pop talking websites. All K-pop. And the other lot like Sumpy and stuff. I really don't like the articles they make. They often just inflame fan wars, and yeah, I just don't really like them much. But there's just a couple articles here that are displaying some tweets that were put out. This is the fairly normal ones, saying oh, Bam Bam's hanging out with the wrong people. It's goddamn Mark's friends from America, goddamn Americans. Yeah, a little bit passive aggressive, but It's a fairly normal thing. I can understand why they would tweet that, because there was also the controversy of Mark's friends being on stage and taking their shirts off on stage, which was a bit of a bizarre thing. And then there was people very defensive of Bam Bam, being like, "Oh no, it's all right. Just don't be mean to Bam Bam. He's our love." And that's a little bit sort of short-sighted. I think issues like this need to be addressed. But a lot of the tweets were GOT7's arguing between each other over whether it was acceptable or whether they should be defending Bam Bam. There was also a darker side to this, and that was a lot of people were asking for Bam Bam to be kicked out of the group. A lot of people were saying he should be in jail for saying a racial slur. Stuff that was over the top. I imagine some of these people were anti-fans and not actual fans, but even still there was a fairly large majority that wanted Bam Bam to be punished for using the racial slur. And it got to the point where he was receiving death threats over it. People were telling him to kill himself over a word. Jesus Christ, guys. How extreme do you have to get to send someone death threats over something as trivial as that? It's a little bit sad. I will never get my head around things like that, I can understand why people would be upset with him or disappointed, but to send someone death threats over a word, nah, there's something wrong with you if you do that. And the reason I wanted to bring this up is because there's been a big new death threat case just yesterday. Jimin of BTS was sent loads of death threats for BTS's next concert. Some anti-fans, I don't know whether they were just extreme armies or just completely anti-fans, I have no idea, saying they would bring a gun to the BTS concert and they were going to shoot Jimin. And Jesus Christ, even if that's a joke, oh my, you don't joke, that's not funny, that's not a joke. Legitimately saying you're going to bring a gun to a concert to kill someone because you don't like them. Oh God. And there's so many of these people. I see them all the time. People just making up shit about idols or just criticizing them on everything they do and then saying they hate them and they want them to kill themselves. The amount of times a day I see this, being so involved in the community, you see it on Twitter all the bloody time, and it just really gets to you. Now, I'm not going to name and shame these accounts because personally I don't really want to give them attention, so I'm not even going to show their tweets on screen. Any really, really horrible tweets I'm not going to show on screen. The ones I do show on screen won't be that bad, and they'll usually just be ones I want to talk about rather than actual horrible tweets. But this made me sick, and it reminded me of the Bam Bam case. I felt fairly bad for Bam Bam. Yes, he did something stupid, something that did disappoint me, but death threats, no. That's not acceptable. And that's why I need beer. Now, before I just end this segment, I would like to say that obviously the Bam Bam issue split across the fandom, but my opinion on the case hasn't changed. You can go look at some of my older videos if you want. I did actually do a whole video about it on my Pwice-Ginno channel. But I thought it was a pretty sad case. But I did feel a bit sorry for Bam Bam. And I love you. I got huge growth in the GOT7 fan community. Huge. Over the past year, it's exploded. Very, very happy for the boys. I've mentioned the Jimin thing about BTS, but now I want to move on to something more related to the leader, Rap Monster. Oh God, that was a bad one. This is the whole case with Wale and Veni. Now, before I talk about her, I want to talk about Rap Monster and Wale. Oh my bloody God, that was a crazy collab. Fantastic song. Change, I've been listening to it on repeat. Really fantastic, and I hope Rap Monster gets more opportunities to collab with people. Look past fan boundaries and just think about how good the music is. If you don't like BTS, fair enough, just listen to that song because it is so good. The lyrics are gorgeous. The motivation behind it is fantastic. Anyway, this sort of all started because ARMY started tweeting at Wale saying, Rap Monster has covered one of your songs, could you check him out, and so forth. And he replied to one of the accounts called Veni. And since then it's sort of blown up because he then got in touch with BTS and they got the thing planned, and Wale, owed a lot of it to Veni, at least that's what he said. He kept on tweeting at her saying, yo, thank you for introducing me to this dude, and it was pretty awesome, to be honest. And then some stuff got dredged up from her past, and it was some pretty light-hearted racism, but it wasn't as bad as people made it out to be, but it was, stuff you should apologise for. It wasn't inoffensive, to say the least. Anyway, she did apologise for it, and she said, that's the past, and it's gone and done, but since then, people have been incredibly horrible to her. And I don't just mean, oh man, you're racist, that's disgusting, you don't deserve any of the success you get, as in they've been telling her to kill herself. And that makes me hang my head in shame. You cannot call someone a racist or a horrible person and then tell someone to kill themselves, because that is, do you not see the hypocrisy there? I mean, that's just a horrible thing to say in general, but the fact that you're trying to take the moral high ground and then telling someone to kill themselves, doesn't work. Anyway, there's just going to be a couple of things here, just showing up on the screen, just some of the tweets she got, some fairly basic stuff. I don't want to show the really, really horrible, nasty stuff because I don't want to give attention to them. There's some people here make good points, I don't disagree with all of it, or think these people showing up on screen, then they're not horrible people. These aren't the really bad ones, but they are people that I think are going a bit overboard, and I think a lot of it does stem from a bit of jealousy. Veni got super involved in the whole Wale Namjoon collab, and it was awesome. She got like a private video made, and she posted that online, and lots of people criticised her for that, and I thought that was a bit over the top as well. And then people also started just sending her trivial shit, complaining about the way she looks, the way she acts, and I thought that was also really, really just pathetic in a way. Now, I'm not condoning anything she said. I'm not condoning the fact that she has been problematic within the community. I know lots of people have sent me messages about that, and I'm not disagreeing with any of that. I'm certainly not taking a side on the racism issue, because that's not for me to decide whether she is, okay now. I don't know. I really don't know, and that's not for me to decide. But death threats, if you are trying to be the positive person in the situation, sending a death threat is never the way to go about it. Neither telling someone to delete their Twitter or to get off the internet or to stop being a BTS fan. That's unacceptable. God fucking damn. This episode, this episode isn't quite as funny as my last ones, but I feel like I need to be clearer and make it known that I'm not trying to be horrible to people. I'm just trying to point out hypocrisy and try to settle and calm down fan wars, not ignite them. And that's really what I'm trying to do here. Just get everybody to calm down and take a look at it from someone else's perspective and put yourself in their shoes for a minute. And that's very important in fandom wars, because I think too often people get just so focused on their love of a group that they forget that this is all about music. And music is the best thing. I love music. And that's what I love. Anyway, getting a bit soppy there, Gino. Need some more drink. Ah! This kind of tastes like soap water. A bit weird. I usually like 1664s. Weird. Oh well. Anyway, we are moving on from that issue and onto something that really frustrates me. This is one of the most frustrating things about a certain fandom. And this is XOLs. Now, in the past, I've had issues with some XOLs, really a small minority that just do not like me for some reason, because I made a video called Why I Hate EXO, and they just read the title and didn't actually watch the video, because I don't hate EXO, funnily enough. I love EXO, and I love most XOLs, but this minority have then since been hating on me, and it's been a bit weird, honestly. I never really understood it, because I don't necessarily hate them. I just don't understand why they have to tweet horrible shit to people. It's a bit bizarre. Anyway, what I'm talking about here right now is OT8s. This is a very small subset, very, very small. As far as I can tell, there's only about sort of 400, 500 members. And this is people who want Lay out of EXO. Part of it's due to the fact that he's a Chinese member, and the 3 other Chinese members of EXO have left already, and they see him as sort of like the last one who's not committed to EXO. And it's also the fact that, he's often not there. And I find this really unfair, because Lay puts in the work. He is working hour after hour. He's constantly flying back between China and Korea or wherever EXO are performing. He's getting back for award shows. He's filming dramas. He's doing his own solo albums. He does so much to raise EXO's sort of international appearance level. And these people want him out of EXO. and oh, it pisses me off. In my opinion, you're not a true fan if you want him out of EXO. It's fine if you don't think he's that talented or whatever. You know, I think he's personally, I think he's one of the most talented members of EXO. And it's fine if you just don't really like his personality, but to want him to be kicked out of EXO, you're not a true fan. I'm sorry, you're not a true fan if you want a member kicked out. You gotta look at the group as a collective and see each member for what they give, and they give so much for EXO. And I'm just going to show you a sort of list of articles I've been reading up about this sort of subsection, and there's quite a few of them, you know, about 300, 400 of them who just continue this anti-lay rampage. How do you pronounce that word? Rampage. That's it. It's very disappointing to see stuff like that within a community, but I'm glad to see that there's a lot of EXO-Ls fighting the good fight and telling these people you're not a real fan if you do this. And it's really nice to see when EXO-Ls club together and actually do something positive. Because they're such a good community, but there's so many of them. You know, like I said earlier in this video, that some estimates are up to 40 million fans of EXO, and that's mental. And yeah, so that's the infighting I've been talking about in communities, not just fan wars between communities, but internal stuff. You know, the OT8s and the Veni stuff with BTS and the IGOTs with Bam Bam's incident. It's the infighting, and what these fandoms need to do is they need to stick together and focus on the good, and yeah, there's going to be problematic, idiotic people, but you need to stick together. The good people need to stick together and support. That's what you need to do. You need to support, love the music. That's what I focus on anyway. That's why this video hasn't been too mean or harsh or satirical like the last two parts of Search for the Worst have been. I hope you guys still enjoy it though, you know. I still put a lot of effort into it. God damn, I've been writing this for bloody 2 weeks. Oh my god. It's been hard work, I can tell you that right now. Does it seem scripted? I don't know. I can't tell. It is scripted. Just, yeah. Anyway, the last thing I'm going to be talking about is Saesung fans. I cannot pronounce that word for the life of me. How do you pronounce that? Saesung. Oh, piss off. My internet keeps on going. Bloody France. Just nothing works in France. It's very frustrating. Saesung. Is that right? I don't feel like that's right. Saesung. Okay, that seems to be the pronunciation. Okay. Saesung. And this is about obsessive fans who want to manipulate and control the idols, and they follow them around, and they get in cars and chase them after shows, and there's been quite a few accounts of them causing accidents on the road because they've been chasing these fans. There was the one with Seungri of Big Bang. There was one of the Super Junior members. I don't think it was the Kyuhyun one. I think it was one that Ichok was involved in and Ichol was involved in. And then there's been stuff like the FT Island one where they broke into their apartment, stole a bunch of shit, and then did a shit on their floor. Weird. That's so strange. Oh my lord, like, why? Why would you get to that level? It's this sort of obsession culture with celebrities. And, you know, these people are sort of, almost sort of like mentally deranged, that they think they own these people and that they can just walk up to them and do whatever they want. There was also that story about Baekhyun going to his brother's wedding, and then Saesung fans showed up and started taking pictures of Baekhyun at his brother's wedding. Like, have some bloody respect. You you egomaniac narcissist. It's not all about you or your love with that idol or whatever's going on in your head. Now, it's okay to be, you know, obsessed to a level with idols or to, you know, really support them. That's fine. But as soon as it gets beyond that, as soon as you're, you know, stalking them or harming them in any way, that's for me, that's criminal. And I'm glad to see this culture is finally being addressed by fandoms. You know, I see EXO-Ls on Twitter telling people to calm down or stop harassing these crazy people. And I really do appreciate that. And I think that EXO-Ls are doing a really good job of fighting these people off and dismissing them as not real fans, but just obsessive, crazy people. So I have to give a little round of applause to all of you who do that. And I think it needs to become bigger. I know in the past it was actually worse because there was the TVXQ or JYJ members were like stalked a lot, and they had loads of issues. Like once they were like forced to take photos with fans because they like blocked them off, or that might have been Big Bang, I'm not sure. One of the two. They were like blocked off, and they couldn't leave without taking pictures with fans or kissing them or something like that. It was very bizarre. But I think it's, like I said, I think it's being addressed now, and I'm really happy to see that there are changes happening in the community. Even just since my last video, I've noticed general sort of improvements in fan culture. I think voting awards are not good for the K-pop community in general. I hate voting awards. I think that it's really damaging. So yeah, that's me and my take on Saesang fans. Great. Oh my lord, that was fun to talk about, wasn't it? Obsessed crazy people. I'm getting through this beer. Anyway, now I wanted to take a short time to address some concerns and complaints with the last episode. More just sort of explaining my viewpoints and things that have changed since the last episode. Okay, so this comment here is sort of talking about how I was a bit uneven with my selection for ARMYs and XOLs. Yeah, the reason I did that is because I didn't want it to be all about horrible shit being tweeted at fans and celebrities. I also wanted to talk about sort of obsession and over-the-top competitiveness. So I just sort of split it between ARMYs and XOLs, just the ones that were appearing on my timeline and on my YouTube account. So it wasn't a biased thing or anything like that. It's just the way it sort of happened. I am an ARMY, I am an XOL, I am an IGOT, and I don't hate most people. Yeah, I think the comment wasn't perhaps a little bit unfair, but I do understand where you're coming from. I should have explained myself. There's also something about voting. I think voting is fine. I don't have a problem with people who vote. I find a problem with people who create 50 accounts and vote every day like that. I think that's borderline obsessive, but that's fine. But I think it takes away from the fact that it should be about who makes the best music, not about whose fans are more willing to vote. And that's just generally my issue and opinion on voting. Everybody will have a different opinion. Awards are sick. I love award shows, and I love that groups get awards, but I don't think fan voting should be counted. And it also just causes so many problems and fights. I remember when I said who I was voting for the Mama Awards, the amounts of just horrible people like, oh, why are you voting for this? Well, I decided I was going to vote for it. It just causes so many more problems than it quells, I guess. This was one of my favourite comments on the video, which is, because I made a comment that most of these people didn't have anything better to do, and that's sort of what this person is saying, and I really did appreciate this comment because, yeah, when you are older, you will cringe at the things you say. I mean, I'm not going to pretend like I'm a perfect human being. I've said stupid shit. I've done regretful things, and I'm in a way I'm glad I made the mistakes because I learned from them, and I'm sure everybody here will also regret things they've said. Everybody will. And if you have made a tweet harassing someone, delete it and maybe apologize for it, and just remember that everything's a learning curve. You get me? Yeah, you get me. This is a comment that kind of frustrated me. Thanks for making XOLs look bad, just like any other ARMY YouTubers. Are there any ARMY YouTubers? I mean, most of the YouTubers I know and follow are general K-pop fans, and they enjoy all sorts of K-pop. They're not just ARMY supporters or ARMY or BTS supporters. And I didn't make XOLs look bad. I said so many times it's a minority of people, a small minority. I'm not making XOLs look bad at all. It's a minority of people, and I don't like those people. I love XOLs. The amount of times I said that is ridiculous, but some people still got it wrong, and I want to emphasize that. XOLs are brilliant, and there's so much positives that they do, but there are some people in the community that are shitty people. That's just how everything works. There's always going to be shitty people in the world, and, we always have to fight them. Well, not fight them, not argue with them, but you need to try and make people better. You know what I mean? Yeah. You know what I mean? Why do I keep on bloody saying that? Jeez, it's not funny. There is no such thing as the worst fandom. Indeed, I don't think that it's measurable. I don't think it's measurable how bad a fandom is, and I don't think it's fair either to say one fandom is worse than the other, because there's so many good people in fandoms as well. So I think it would be unfair to say one is a worse fandom than the other. Good point. Speaking of being funny, this guy tries way too hard to be funny. Yeah, I do. I try to be funny, and I often fail. that's just kind of how life works. And you live and you learn. Hopefully I will be funnier in the future for you. But it doesn't always work that way. So we'll see. Some people found my last video funny. This one isn't quite as funny. I think it's a bit different, this video. And it was a comment that actually came up just the other day on the video. Loving my ass off at these K-pop YouTubers. Even Ginno joining the bandwagon of hate now. Is there a bandwagon of hate? I didn't join it. I'm not really very hateful. Wow. Wow, I saw the trailer for part 2. Do some research first, okay? What research? What are you talking about? I don't research anything. No, I'm kidding. I've done weeks of research for these videos. You know, I do a lot for this. I try to find as much as I can and try to make it as safe and as child-friendly as possible. You'll notice I'm not swearing as much in this episode. Yeah, I did that for a reason. But I do agree with you on the awards. Awards are important. I like awards, like I said earlier, but I just don't like fan voting. This comment made me chuckle because they're calling me unoriginal because I have the same title as the YouTuber I Hate Everything called Search for the Worst. His is about reviewing shitty movies. Mine is just completely different. The style is different. He doesn't show his face. He doesn't really even talk like me. He doesn't drink beer. Actually, he might drink beer. I don't know. I've never met him. And this comment disappointed me. This person said they were disappointed in me because it shows that I had a lot of ignorance about the K-pop system. As in, I was ignorant of the fact that some people are shitty in it. I don't know. What's that about? The video was a little bit biased. I can understand how you might view it as that, but it wasn't actually. I wasn't actually trying to be biased, but I can understand how you saw it like that. Not everybody can talk good English. Yeah, I mean, that English there wasn't great, but yeah. I'm a shitty human being. Yeah, no. The English thing, it's more just a humour thing. If you can't speak in English very well, that's fine. There's no issue with that. You know, you're learning, and that's better than me. You know, all I can do is speak English and a little bit of French. Bonjour, bonsoir, je suis. Yeah, that's the limit. No, I'm kidding. I can actually speak all right French. But yeah, the English thing, it's just a comedy bit. It shouldn't be taken seriously. It's just a bit of satire. It's just a bit of jokey humour, speaking in English, and it's something to make fun of when you see someone tweeting something horrible in broken English. It's just an amusing thing to see. That's all I was commenting about. But I do understand that not everybody can speak good English, and I certainly wouldn't make fun of someone being nice because their English was broken. It's just that they're tweeting horrible shit in broken English. It's quite amusing. And please stop calling people ignorant about things. It's just a bit of a hyperbole, because I'm not ignorant about this subject anyway. I do understand the K-pop community, and I love it, and I've been a part of it now for ages, so I think it's a bit harsh to say I'm ignorant. And a nice end to the video. Fuck you! Yeah, fuck you too! And that's where we're gonna end off today. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed. I know this hasn't been so much as a comedy video as the past 2 episodes have been. If you want to check them out, then please go check them out. That's Search for the Worst Donald Trump Supporters and Search for the Worst Kpop Fandoms #1. And don't forget all the things I addressed at the end of the video. Just remember them, because I think they are important. There were mistakes in my first part. I didn't explain myself enough, and I didn't give enough sort of a background to the video I was making, and some people just don't get satire. And that's completely fine if you don't like it, but if you don't like it, then fuck you. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. God, kidding, sort of. But yeah, that's all cool and dandy. Thank you very much for watching, and thank you to all the people who tweeted at me for the beginning clips. Some of those were real, some of them were fake. The fake ones included Josh Dove, Pia, and a couple of the others. I asked them to tweet those things at me, so don't get mad at them. They're still my friends, I still love them. Thank you very much, guys, I appreciate that. Anyway, this is going to be Ginno, signing out. See you guys soon. Just realised I didn't quite finish the beer. That's embarrassing. Done! Ugh.
HBJ, pedal in the house. Yeah, boys. You know what we do. This is the moment you all have been waiting for. It's time to get light to everything you heard me say before. I am a god, so you better pray like